The time from 1.8 million years ago up to about 9,600 BC, when the last ice age ended, is referred to by geologists as the Pleistocene period. A study of the fossil record reveals that at no time during the entire Pleistocene did animal extinction proceed at a more rapid pace than at the close of the last ice age. Between 13,000 and 16,000 years ago, at least 57 land mammals became extinct.
The anomalous nature of this episode is apparent in this graph, which plots the rate of disappearance of large land mammals from North America over the past 2 million years. The rate of disappearance for small mammals, although not quite as large, was still quite significant. If this graph can be taken as an indicator of the loss of human life, we can imagine the suffering the human race was going through at that time, not just over a few years, but over many generations. This unrivaled extinction episode occurred at a time when the ice sheets were discharging meltwater at an unusually high rate. Climate profiles show that the Earth's climate was unusually warm at this time. Both occurred at a time when the sun was putting out cosmic rays at an unusual high rate. These correlations suggest that the mass extinction at the end of the Pleistocene was due to a natural hazard associated with a solar conflagration and accompanying glacial meltwater floods. In fact, if you study the fossil remains, you find that the rise of extinction rate paralleled the rise of meltwater output from the North American ice sheet. In fact, paleontologists failed to find any extinct species surviving past about 13,000 years ago. North America had the largest glacial ice sheet, and studies have shown that the cataclysm was most severe there. Some 95% of the mammals became extinct. So what caused this mass extinction? The evidence from geology and mythology lead us to believe that the extreme heat of a solar conflagration combined with floods of unprecedented proportions were the principal cause. These high-velocity waves would not only have drowned the mammals, but would have destroyed their food supply as well. Larger animals would have been at a distinct disadvantage, since they would have required greater amounts of biomass for their survival, and since they take longer for their population to increase in size. The few grazing mammals that survived this cataclysm would have either starved to death or become rapidly exterminated by their predators, or by humans searching for food. As we can see today, ponds and lakes on a glacier's surface, as well as caverns within the glacier, store large quantities of meltwater. From time to time, these can suddenly release their contents and produce potentially destructive floods called glacier bursts. Both large and small animal remains have been found in these permafrost silts. Examples of large animals would be saber-toothed tiger, ground sloth, mammoth, small animals like beaver, squirrel. It's generally agreed that these animals died of asphyxia, as would occur in drowning. It appears that the same agent that created the Alaskan deposits also operated all across northern Siberia to form what's called the Mammoth Horizon. Here they found thousands of mammoths and rhinoceros preserved in these permafrost silts. It seems that whatever killed these animals caught them unawares. Some people have suggested there was ice, that they broke through the ice, and at the time they were chewing their food and they were suddenly frozen. To explain whole fields full of bones like this, it just becomes absurd. When you have catastrophic deposition, the heavy materials settle first, and then the lighter things. And again, here they found the rocks, the heavy rocks, and the bones on the bottom. And as they go up, they get to the finer sands and silts, and that's where they find a lot of the soft tissues. So this indicates deposition by action of water, but violent action. This is over, not just over acres, we're talking about whole countries are covered with this. I mean, the only reason you see it frozen in Alaska, the only reason you find the soft parts along with the bones in Alaska is because the climate there has preserved them. The idea that occurs to me is that this catastrophe occurred at a time when the climate was quite warm, and actually there were probably mass migrations towards the high latitude regions to get away from the heat. And actually it made matters worse for them, because then they got it from the ice sheet with these glacier waves. And if you had one of these solar conflagrations occur at that time, you could imagine the animals grazing in this region, because it was warmer than normal, so there was quite a lot of vegetation there, and they would be eating the grass or whatever, and not knowing that thousands of kilometers away, dams on the ice sheet had broken, and water was coursing down the ice sheet, gaining in momentum and energy. You can imagine a mountainous wave, 500 feet high, thousands kilometers long perhaps, traveling down the ice sheet. And these animals wouldn't be aware of it until the thing had left the ice sheet and was thundering across the plains. And what could they do?